Stay cool. Stay cool. John know the rule. We're gonna go. Stay cool. Stay cool. Yeah. I hope y'all can get it, man. Yeah, y'all gotta be right on it. Face for your face, eyes for your eyes, don't blink. Black ink is
Good morning, everybody. Let's get this show on the road. As one of my freshman class teachers used to say, good morning to the multitude. It's nice to see all of you, and welcome to this incredible breakfast that we have every year where we honor the arts. And I'm thankful that all of you got up at this early hour to join us. Before we start the program, I'm proud to announce the kickoff of the 34th Annual City Livability Awards Program. There's an application and a guideline booklet on each of your seats. It looks like this. So I want you to pick it up, and mayors, take a look at this. This prestigious awards program has been sponsored by Waste Management for the past 23 years, and it celebrates the creativity of mayors and their city governments in improving the quality of life for our city residents. Waste Management has a representative, Mr. Everett Bass. Stand up so everybody can see that beautiful red coat you got on. And if anybody else wants to be introduced, if you wear a red coat like that, I'll introduce you too. Everett, you're looking good. This program is a great way to promote local best practices, and it challenges all of us mayors to pursue recognition in our city for innovation, which is taking place all across America. So I encourage all of you to apply and send in your successful programs. Good luck to all of you. So today, ladies and gentlemen, is the day that we join our great partners in Americans for the Arts to honor public leadership in the arts. As the chairman of the Tourism, Arts, Parks, Entertainment, and Sports Committee, it's been my honor to be asked by Mayor Nutter to host this breakfast this morning, and I'm thrilled to do it because this is such an important part of the work that we do in our cities as we build jobs through the cultural economy. I know that art inspires each and every one of us, and we have a number of people that we're going to honor today who have shown incredible leadership in the arts. Before I begin, I want to remind all of you guys and ladies that we are going to have in New Orleans once again this year on May 1st to May 3rd, the World Cultural Economic Forum. This is a gathering of mayors from all over the world in sponsorship now with the U.S. Conference of Mayors, where we talk about the back of the house side and the business side of art. We talk about how you take art, music, culture, historic preservation, and we turn it into a business that helps people create sustainable models for wealth. And we not just talk about the front of the house side of it that all of us know so well when we show up at the theater, but the back of the house side about how many jobs and what the sustainability of arts and music are. So I want you to save the date. It's May 1st through 3rd. It happens to be the week of the Great New Orleans Jazz Festival, which has about 500,000 people. If you want to know what it's like, ask Mayor Frank. Mayor Frank, you're the expert on the Jazz Festival, so he'll kind of give you a heads up on it. It really is a working week, but we also get out and understand really how it works and how it makes sense for all of us. Now, to kick things off, I'm going to call up our CEO and our great leader and our executive director, Mr. Tom Cochran, who's been a real champion. Tom, thank you for your leadership. Please help me welcome Tom.
Thank you, Mayor Landrieu. We're so fortunate to have Mitch Landrieu as our chair, and we continue to learn from him about, in a different kind of way, about arts and what it means to our cities. I'm going to say it again and again and again. Please, please, please try to come to New Orleans. This is an incredible meeting that Mayor Landrieu was the lieutenant governor of Louisiana, and in his portfolio, he had tourism and culture, and so he started this movement when he was lieutenant governor, but it's gone to bigger things since he's become mayor. And this is the first time that the United States Conference of Mayors is coming in a strong partnership. So we urge all of you to be there. We're very, very pleased to have this continuing relationship with American for the Arts. Just wanting to point out that it's more than just a breakfast. And even though the awards are very special, how we recognize people who are doing things out in our nation, We have a ongoing relationship with American for the Arts. In this political year, we had joint forums at the Democratic Convention and also at the Republican Convention. And I'm so pleased that this relationship continues on. Also in Washington, Rocco Landsman, who is the NEA chair, has announced he was leaving. And Rocco Landsman brought a new kind of directorship for the National Endowment for the Arts. He reached out to the other agencies, to transportation, to HUD, to infuse the arts into those agencies, and of course sponsors our Mayor's Institute of City Design, which some of you have been to those meetings. They continue. We are also experiencing the fact that we're going to have a new director of the NEA, and we're going to be working with American for the Arts to make sure, do our best to have someone in that office. We'll be making our voices to the Obama administration to make sure that what Rocco has started, we want to continue. So welcome to this breakfast. At this point, I'd like to bring up Bob Lynch, who is the president and CEO of American for the Arts, and also want to give a shout out to Nina Oslu-Tunseli, who worked closely with us and as we go through the year. So Bob Lynch from American for the Arts, our partner.
Thank you, Tom, and good morning to everyone. It is absolutely a pleasure to once again be here with you and to say thank you to the mayors of America. Mayors all across America continue to be the #1 partner for the arts in our country. You are the #1 partner in advancing the arts, whether it's visual art or performing art or literature or media arts, and also for arts and arts education support in America. And art continues to be a key partner for cities themselves. We hope a continuing partner for you, a secret weapon in helping to solve the other kinds of issues that you're dealing with, whether it's community development, whether it's creative placemaking or creative child making, whether it's urban revitalization or neighborhood reconstruction or job creation. Yes, creative child making. That's could go the other way. Sometimes you can have too much creativity even as you're talking. But job creation, youth at risk turnaround. One of the things that Mayor Scott Smith talked about when we were at the Republican National Convention was how the arts were a key partner in turning around crime reduction in his city. So the studies all show it. They show that all of these things are areas of American need that the arts play a role in. More importantly, mayors know this, and they like it, they live it, and they talk about it. And in talking about it, in you talking about it, it makes all the difference for support, whether it's from the public sector or the private sector. Americans for the Arts and our team, a lot of you know Jay Dick and Nina Oslu-Tunseli, and our team is over here, if they would all stand for a second. All of our Americans for the Arts folks are here to work with you, and we work with 3,000 communities as members across our country. And the kinds of entities that we work with in those communities are called Departments of Cultural Affairs, Arts Councils, Arts Commissions, United Arts Funds, Business Committees for the Arts. But they are the engines of advancement, and they work in those cities only in partnership with leaders like yourselves. They are also represented in this room. Almost all of the mayors in this room connect with one of those kinds of agencies that is our membership. And this is who I hear from all the time about the great work of great mayors. Your leadership, their partnership, creates a better America through the arts, and that is our goal. Now, I love this job, and I've been doing it now for 27 years, and I get to go to a different city almost every week, 45 trips this year. Our team has done 150 trips to your communities this year and 200 gatherings where arts organizations come to us for training. And mayors have helped me, myself, along the way in cities all across the country. I mentioned Mayor Smith from Mesa at the Republican National Convention, Kevin Johnson, Sacramento at the Democratic National Convention. Mayor Nutter pops up to help us in a lot of different places, and most recently in our economic impact study made a great statement about the value of the arts and the economy. Cory Booker helped us with the Committee to Encourage Corporate Philanthropy. Anise Parker in Houston for a business arts connection when we were out there. Luke Ravenstahl, we're bringing our conference to Pittsburgh. Julian Castro in San Jose this year was a great partner, and others continually to help us, like Joe Riley and Elizabeth Kautz, and Jim Brainerd, Anthony Fox in Charlotte, who helped us when we were down there for the convention, Pedro Segarra in Hartford, Ralph Becker in Salt Lake, Chuck Reed in San Jose. Each one of those mayors worked on a particular program with us when we were out across the nation, so very excited about that. And excited to see how some of our members are working with you. Rahm Emanuel, for example, in a great cultural plan that's just come out in Chicago. And Frank Ortiz handed me a terrific program just this morning about art, movement, and obesity that he's trying to work with the White House on. All of this comes to my attention and all of this opportunity because of the great work of Tom Cochran at the United States Conference of Mayors, who we've been working with for over 20 years. And I would personally just like to say great thanks to Tom Cochran. But also all our past awardees and Tom McClymon's good work as well. This allows us to do some things that we hope help you. Our Americans for the Arts Action Fund this year went throughout the nation working on the election to make sure that there was an arts message that was heard with Republican candidates and the Democratic Party. We were successful in getting a Democratic platform statement, which was great, and brought the message not only to states across the nation, but to the White House and to Congress together. I want to thank you for that, because what was the result? Well, public support for the arts in America is about $5.5 billion a year, with about half of that being at the local level from mayors and from city councils and from organizations that are doing local government support. And the other half would only be there if that partnership with mayors existed. A lot of people don't know that at a time a decade ago when the National Endowment for the Arts was about to go under, the last thing that happened was the mayors came with us to Congress, and that is why you have a National Endowment for the Arts today. And so I thank you once again, even though it's a decade later. All of this arts activity in America means some important things for America. It means, according to our economic impact study, 4.1 million jobs from the nonprofit sector alone, $135 billion in arts expenditures, and $22 billion coming back to federal, state, and local tax coffers. Dun & Bradstreet, in partnering with Americans for the Arts, estimates that there are 900,000 for-profit and nonprofit arts businesses in America, 4.2% of all American businesses. And so it is my great pleasure to be with you and to thank you and to help honor leaders who are here in this room, some today and some over the last 20 years, who help fight to put the arts to work in their communities. Americans for the Arts is pleased today to partner with the United States Conference of Mayors in honoring two great mayors this morning and an important group of artists who you'll be hearing about, and then later today a governor, Governor Landrieu, and artist John Legend on our artist committee. And so with that, once again, it is my honor to be here, and I thank you for all that you do. Thank you. And now it's my pleasure to talk about the two awardees for today. First, we have Santa Fe Mayor David Koss. He presides over the oldest capital city in the United States, known internationally for its unique historic, cultural, artistic, and creative heritage. Mayor Koss understands that the arts, culture, artists, and arts organizations are critical partners in his efforts to create jobs, to strengthen the local economy, and to do continuing programs and funding that will improve the quality of life for all the citizens in Santa Fe. With a population of 68,642 people, Santa Fe has far more cultural assets per capita than any other city in the United States. I had the opportunity to be there earlier this year. Streets are lined with galleries where I did actually spend way too much money than I was supposed to. The mayor is very pleased with that. But there were also festivals, and there were Native American arts gatherings and folk arts gatherings and contemporary art gatherings all in one place. Very exciting. Under his leadership, the city invests $1.7 million yearly in arts-related funding, or an impressive $24.35 per person. Santa Fe's creative industries, comprised of 873 arts-related businesses, generates $1.1 billion annually in economic activity. The creative industries employ 1 out of every 6 workers in Santa Fe, and for every $1 that Santa Fe invests in the creative industries, it returns $5 back to the city's coffers. Under Mayor Koss's leadership, the city is protecting its remarkable historic downtown from the rail yard, wonderful renovation there, to the Santa Fe River, and from Fort Marcy Park to the plaza, with the determination that one of the most unique, historic, beautiful townscapes anywhere in the world will continue to be an anchor for the city's economy. A vibrant downtown for locals and visitors, a downtown filled with history, art, and culture that is walkable, bikeable, and welcoming. And we are excited at Americans for the Arts to be working with Santa Fe resident and Americans for the Arts policy partner Robert Redford on some national cultural policy events that will be happening and taking place in Santa Fe. In 2008, Santa Fe was admitted to UNESCO Creative Cities Network, which Mayor Koss supported, to increase economic opportunities through creative tourism initiatives. Santa Fe Mayor David Koss receives now the 2013 Americans for the Arts and United States Conference of Mayors National Award for Local Arts Leaderships for cities with a population fewer than 100,000. Mayor Koss.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. That's an honor. It's it's really a thrill for myself and my community just to be on the same program with New Orleans mayors. So, thank you. But I want to, as mayor, I want to thank Americans for the Arts and the U.S. Conference of Mayors for this award, and I accept this award on behalf of the community of Santa Fe. They're really the ones that do all the work in the arts. And I want you all to visit. We always love to hear stories about he spent too much money on art in Santa Fe. But the arts in Santa Fe, whether it's the visual arts, the performing arts, the literary arts, they enrich our lives. I grew up in Santa Fe, and I'm just so privileged to have been able to do that. They enrich our lives, our children's lives, and our grandchildren's lives. And they are part of our 400-year-old culture and history in Santa Fe, and we couldn't be more proud of that. It's also, as he said, a major part of our economy, with 1 in 6 jobs being related to the arts. And I think couldn't have been more important than it was during the recession that we had the arts to keep our economy going and keep life great in Santa Fe. It's an honor and it's a privilege to be the mayor in a town like Santa Fe that has supported the arts way before I got there, and will be supporting the arts long after I'm gone. And so I accept this award really on behalf of the thousands and thousands of artists that have worked over the centuries in Santa Fe. Some got very famous and made a lot of money. Others just worked and worked and worked. But on behalf of those artists and my community of Santa Fe, I'm very honored to have received this award. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mayor Mitch Landrieu has had arts and culture at the center of his platform for office for the past 24 years. As Lieutenant Governor of Louisiana, he created, as you heard from Tom earlier, the Cultural Economy Initiative, for which he received the 2006 Lieutenant Governor Public Leadership in the Arts Award. When our board of directors went down and met in New Orleans right after Katrina, the lieutenant governor at the time came and spoke with us and mapped out even then his vision for how the arts would help revitalize the economy. And again, when our 50 largest cities came and met there, we were inspired by his words. In 2012, Mayor Landrieu hosted the World Cultural Economic Forum as an initiative of the city of New Orleans in partnership with the U.S. Conference of Mayors, again, as Tom mentioned. The forum welcomed nearly 50 delegations representing cities and countries from around the United States and the world. Mayor Landrieu charged his office with creating the first cultural economy report for the city of New Orleans. This groundbreaking report quantified the role and the impact of culture on the city's economy and workforce. Cultural enterprises are the second largest direct employers in the city, with over 12% of the city's workforce with wages over $1 billion. When elected mayor of New Orleans in February 2010, he created the city's first Office of Cultural Economy and housed it within the mayor's office, and he increased funding for the city's community arts grants for the first time in more than 8 years. Mayor Landrieu coordinated efforts that made arts and culture part of his place-based planning, including provisions for cultural development in successful grants to HUD, Choice Neighborhoods, and the Department of Transportation, Tiger II. When I was there earlier this year, I was delighted. I was there with craft leaders from across America, and I was delighted to see the volume of neighborhood and downtown cultural and cultural economic activity from local and from many, many outside participants. Mayor Landrieu established a healthcare initiative in 2011 to assist cultural workers like musicians and street performers, so integral to New Orleans culture, with affordable and accessible healthcare options. Partnerships with providers were established to provide free health screenings and the creation of a guide to low and no-cost healthcare in New Orleans. These guides have been distributed to thousands of cultural workers. They're also available online in the city, and Mayor Landrieu made the city's culture the cornerstone of a new national marketing campaign for New Orleans. Mayor Landrieu's style has made it possible to get sustainable traction that keeps culture and the arts in the forefront of the New Orleans identity. You don't think about New Orleans unless you think about culture and the arts. The mayor engages stakeholders, builds programs that respond to needs, and then produces the results that serve the collective industries. Because of this, the role of culture on the New Orleans economy is understood across the board there by business leaders, educators, and the general population. Arts and culture are not just quality of life issues in New Orleans. Arts and culture are indeed fact of life issues for residents because of Mayor Landrieu's leadership. New Orleans Mayor Mitch Landrieu then receives the 2013 Americans for the Arts and the United States Conference of Mayors National Award for Local Arts Leadership for cities with a population of 100,000 or more. Mayor Landrieu.
Bob, thank you very much. That was very gracious of you. I'm thrilled to receive this award, especially on behalf of the people of New Orleans. For those of you that are paying attention, you sports fans, we're about to host the Super Bowl. The Saints are not going to be in it. Neither is Philadelphia. Sorry. This is Man Nutter's not here yet, right? But to give that a sense of it, we are now about to host this Super Bowl. We've hosted more Super Bowls than any other city in America besides Miami. But to give you a sense of this, in a couple of weeks, New Orleans will host this event. It'll be the 25th major either sports or cultural event that we have hosted in the last 14 months. This particular event and many others, which you guys have been at, y'all have all played at the Essence Festival, you've played at the Jazz Festival. The Essence Festival is an event that 250,000 people would come to that had over $150 million economic impact. The Jazz Festival, 500,000 people come to. It has about a $400 million economic impact, and of course everybody knows that the Super Bowl is the granddaddy of them all. The bigger point to all of that stuff is while all of these sports events or cultural events happen, and there's not a culinary facility like a restaurant that will not be full. There's not a musician in town that won't be planned. There's not a gallery that artists produce that will not be full. Around Jackson Square, there's not an artist that's purveying their art that will not work. And so the bigger message to all of this, and every city in America can do this, is culture means jobs. That's what it means. And it's a wonderful thing to watch performers perform, but really, they're small businesses, every one of them. And if you think about them like that, they touch everything in your city. Culture, music, art, historic preservation, touches fighting crime on our streets. The name of this group is Roots, but we have something called Roots of Music, where our musicians get together and they grab the young kids that would otherwise be doing other stuff, and they put a horn in their hand. And they teach them not just music, but they teach them about math and science that comes with having to learn how to read music, which is really about fractions, if you think about it, and syncopation. It's about education. It is about transportation, because all of our cultural workers have to get to and from someplace. It's about economic development. The impact in New Orleans, for example, and many of you have it, it's over a $9 billion economic impact that goes directly into the pockets of people that are part of the cultural industries. And then defining the cultural industries broadly is something that is really beginning to take root. Now, I really thought about the different segments of the economy, from art to music to historic preservation. I never thought about creative baby making. That never got into my, but I'm gonna think about that a little bit. I'm gonna even, to be expansive. Don't go there. But in any event, the people of the city of New Orleans are honored to help work with you and lead the nation, and to try to provide for the people of America an incredible quality of life that only art and music and historic preservation. And culture is not a thing set aside. It's a part of everything that we do, and it makes us so special in what we are. So God bless all of you, and thank you for the award.
I don't know exactly what the program is, but I just wanted to come back up and talk a little bit, just a short thing about the National Endowment. And Jason Jupak, you here? Stand up, please. He's the Director of Design for the NEA. And as we go through this cliff and these economic pressures that we have with Congress, this is a precious amount of money. $140, $150 million. I worked in the Kennedy Johnson administration, in the Lyndon Johnson administration. You round that off, okay? France has a minister of culture. France has a minister of culture. And so, when Manny Diaz was our president, we called for a minister of culture and tourism and arts. When you think about the money and what it does for our cities, when you put sports, tourism, and arts and entertainment together, you've got a big, big part of the economic aspect of a metro area. And all we have is a National Endowment, and we thank God for it, because with Rocco and Jason, we have a grants program. And every now and then, You will see a famous movie star, and he or she will say, you know, it was a national endowment that got me started. And that's beautiful. That's a beautiful story. So we know about the soul, we know about the culture, but money is very important. And so we have, inside our organization, in the Metro Mayors, we recognize just how important this part of the cities are. And so that was why Manny Diaz elevated arts and tourism up along with transportation in this organization. So we're going to keep on pushing for more money for the arts, and we're going to support the NEA, and we thank you so much for your support for the grants programs that we have, but also for the Mayor's Institute of City Design. So thank you very much, and we look forward to working with you. Mr. Mayor. No, that's not coming.
We're doing the political equivalent of vamping right now, right? For those of you that are not musicians, what vamping means is playing the same thing over and over because things are not happening the way they're supposed to. Is that right? Well, our esteemed president, Mike Nutter, is from Philadelphia, and he wanted to be here this morning to present this next award, but he's detained down the hallway, and I got a message that he wanted me to do this for him, but I wanted you to know that he really wanted to be here for you guys and may walk in just a second. But ladies and gentlemen, this is really an exciting moment for all of us. These young folks that are sitting down to my left are known as the Roots. This is a influential and critically acclaimed Philadelphia-based band that the Rolling Stones described as, quote, one of the greatest living acts in the world. The band has won numerous awards for its jazz influence, eclectic approach to hip-hop, including 2 Grammys and a 2007 NAACP Image Award. They currently serve, many of you see them if you stay up late, as the house band of the Late Night with Jimmy Fallon. How about, yeah, all right. You can show them a little love. The Roots have been active in the Philadelphia-based foundations, such as Grassroots Foundation, Triple Threat Foundation, and DASH. So they're a living example of what I talked about reaching down and helping young kids find their way. As it relates to the city of New Orleans, you guys have been part of the music scene in New Orleans for a long time. They have played at the Jazz Fest. They've played at the Essence Festival. And for those of you that have been there, they have been to the House of Blues. Annually, they organize and perform the Roots Picnic Festival in Philadelphia and at the Philly 4th of July Jam Concert. The Roots have been strong advocates for public education and support the work of Save the Music Foundation. Since their debut album, Organix, in 1993, the Roots have played such notable venues as New York City's Radio City Music Hall, Lincoln Center, and the Great Apollo Theater, performing over 200 shows annually. In 2010, they collaborated with R&B singer John Legend, who's going to be with us this afternoon, and on the album Wake Up. Their 1999 release, Things Fall Apart, reached number 4 on the Billboard charts, and 2004's The Tipping Point debuted in the same position. The Roots lineup includes original members, rapper MC Black Thought, Tariq Trotter, Amir Thompson, who were the classmates at the Philadelphia High School for Creative Performing Arts. Again, if you don't teach it, you can't learn it. They later added Owen Biddle, James Kamal Gray, Frank Knuckles Walker, Captain Kirk Douglas, Damon Tuba Gooding Jr., Bryson. I got to get myself a nickname. And James Poyser. The Roots received the 2013 American for the Arts and the United States Conference of Mayors Citizen Artist Award. Congratulations. You guys come on up.
I can't wait.
Thank you. It's an amazing feeling to be here in our nation's capital, and to be recognized for the Roots' contribution as artists. Speaking as a product of Saturday classes at Philadelphia's Fleischer Art Memorial and summer art camp at Fairmount Park and music classes at Settlement Music School, Speaking as a member of a band that was formed at Philadelphia's High School for the Creative and Performing Arts, I think it's safe to say that we're living proof of the potential of art in music education as an agent of change. Speaking on behalf of my co-founding bandmate, Amir Thompson, who couldn't be here today because today he begins his curriculum as a music professor at the prestigious New York University. I say thank you. Art and music programs continue to save lives in our country. We're blessed enough to be able to give back as arts ambassadors for the city of Philadelphia and to work closely in conjunction with Mayor Michael Nutter to present events like the Roots Picnic annually in June and the Welcome America Festival on July 4th, which saw upwards of 700,000 attendees last year. So yeah, just thank you for having us. This is an amazing award, and we're absolutely honored. Thank you. So yeah, we want to thank the U.S. Conference of Mayors and Americans for the Arts, and the Grassroots Community Foundation, of which I am a chairman, with programs in the city of Philadelphia and in Newark and in Greensboro, North Carolina. On behalf of us all, I say thank you.
I don't think we're going to be in here. We're fine. We're fine. No, we're fine. We're fine. Yeah.
Thank you.
They're coming to New Orleans on the 3rd, and they said they're going to have a name for me by the time they get there. I'm going to let them do that. Later today, we're going to present our state leadership in the Arts Awards to Governor O'Malley, who has been just a great champion for the arts. He couldn't be here this morning, so we're going to do it this afternoon. And we will also present our Arts Advocacy Award to musician John Legend, who will be here later this afternoon. John's going to join us for a workshop on STEM education, which goes from 4:30 to 5:30. He and Governor O'Malley will be presented with the award at the conclusion of that workshop outside of the presidential ballroom, if any of you folks would like to see us there. This is going to conclude the Arts Awards portion for this workshop. Finally, we are fortunate to have a real treat this morning. Stephen Ayers is with us. Stephen is the architect of the United States Capitol. I believe this is the first time the architect of the U.S. Capitol has joined us. So, Stephen, thank you for being with us. Since many of us will be attending the presidential inauguration, or we're going to be watching on TV, we know that the U.S. Capitol is going to serve as the major backdrop for that unbelievable event that's going to take place at 12 o'clock on Monday. So we thought it would be interesting to have him come point out some of the traditions that the Capitol plays in presidential inauguration ceremonies. So, Stephen, thank you so much for being here with us. Can you come on up? Welcome, Stephen.
Let me just pull up a laptop here. I've got a number of images I wanted to share with you this morning, so if I could just direct your attention to your monitors and the screens next to you. I think I just got in that photograph as I walked in front of there, so photographers, if I was in there, that's a keeper. I'm going to keep that one. Mayor Landrieu said the Super Bowl is the granddaddy of them all. Well, for us in Washington, it's the presidential inauguration that's the granddaddy of them all, and it happens every 4 years. And I thought today I'd just like to share with you a number of images to get you excited about our preparations for Monday. But before I do that, let me take just a moment to tell you about the architect of the Capitol and who that is and what we do. So, as you can see here, I like to describe my organization of 2,300 employees in these 4 photographs. We manage the beautiful historic grounds around the Capitol building, designed by Frederick Law Olmsted in 1874. And also, the second photograph is we manage the artwork collection on behalf of the Congress. And when the Congress wants to commission a new piece of artwork, my office does that, and we retain aesthetic judgment of things that come into and out of the collection, whether it's a new bust of Sojourner Truth or a bronze statue of Rosa Parks, which we'll unveil in the rotunda of the Capitol in the next month or two. As you can imagine from our title, we're responsible for all of the design and construction and architecture of 30 or 40 buildings across Capitol Hill and 18 million square feet. And then lastly, this last photograph on the right. At the Capitol, we received 2.3 million visitors from across the country in that front door every year, and another million in our United States Botanic Garden, and creating those wonderful positive first impressions for our visitors coming to the Capitol and providing informative and inspiring tours and educational experiences is a really important part of our mission. So, in a nutshell, that's kind of who we are and what we do. Now, on to a little bit of history on inaugurations. Here's Abraham Lincoln, second inauguration from 1865. And I love this photograph for a couple of reasons. Of course, sitting up there on the ledge behind him is his assassin. If you look closely at that photograph, and I don't think I have a clicker, but he's up there. And secondly, look at that table from 1865 that was made out of scraps of the cast iron dome constructed just for his inauguration, that's holding his glass of water right in front of him in the center of that photograph. And we still have that table on exhibit in the Capitol Visitor Center, and I hope you have an opportunity to see that. That was on the east front of the Capitol. And here's Woodrow Wilson, also on the east front of the Capitol in 1917. And you can see how these inaugurations are now growing, and people are coming, and people are attending. Our transportation systems are improving, allowing more people to come to these inaugurations. And then JFK, I think this is in 1961, in his inauguration on the East Front. And I love this photograph. If you look up around the peristyle of the beautiful cast iron dome, you see one person standing up there. Everybody see that? I'm convinced that's the architect of the Capitol at the time. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. So then in 1981, President Reagan said, I'm going to move it from the east front of the Capitol to the west front of the Capitol. And this is President Reagan in 1981 being inaugurated on the west front of the Capitol. And the west front, of course, is much more spacious, much more beautiful, can hold millions of people. And obviously, with President Obama's inauguration, we welcomed 1.8 or 1.9 million people there on the west front of the Capitol. And since then, inaugurations have happened on the west front of the Capitol. This year's preparations really start with as they always do, with a ceremonial first nail ceremony with the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies, where we all come out and ceremoniously drive the first nail for the start of the construction of the presidential platform on the West Front. And the West Front is really completely transformed for the inauguration. Of course, this is what it looks like today. But as you can see, it's completely transformed with the presidential platform, and this is President Obama in 2009. I do have a little video, just a 20-second video. Oops. Let me see if I can get that to work for us. Oops. How do I do that, Kristen? Oh. There we go. So just 20 seconds to kind of show you how that West Front is transformed. You can see the presidential platform, the towers, television towers being built, the media towers being built. It takes about 3 months to do that. We placed about 30,000 chairs on the lawn of the West Front. There we go. And of course, my claim to fame is I'm the only guy in Washington, D.C. that knows we put out 505 porta potties for the inauguration. Nobody else knows that, but I do. So a couple of quick shots of this presidential platform under construction. You can see it beginning here, under construction, continuing there along the way. The media towers for the print media. And this is what the presidential platform looks like as we're just about finished with it. And then this is the night before the presidential inauguration, where you can see the chairs are in place, the sound system in place, we've got carpet down, and we are ready to welcome the president, the cabinet, and all of the other dignitaries. One of the things that I'll point out about this, you'll see the front of that platform, right where the president stands in front of that media tower. Well, here's a behind-the-scenes story for you. So right underneath where the president stands, of course, we have a heater to keep the president warm as he's giving his inaugural address to the nation. Not many people know that. And secondly, underneath that platform, right where he stands, my staff puts in a big piece of walnut, about an 8x8 and 10 feet long piece of walnut, where we just stick it under there. And he stands atop that as he gives his inaugural address to the nation. And then we fashion 100 gavels out of that piece of walnut, put a nice thing on there, and I'm able to go over to the White House and present that to him as our gift to the president on his inauguration. And that's a lot of fun, and what an honor for me. And the president hands those out to his friends and family and cabinet members as kind of a memento for his inauguration. The worst thing for us, and the four-letter word for us for a presidential inauguration is snow. We can handle rain. Rain goes away easily. Snow is our issue, and we've been anxious with the forecast the last few days, I can tell you that. Here's President George W. Bush from 2005, and we had several inches of snow the night before that inauguration. And it literally takes hundreds of people from the military and my staff working together through that night to get the snow off that platform and off the 30,000 chairs and streets and walks. And as mayors, you can imagine what all of that encompasses. And we love to decorate the Capitol with red, white, and blue pansies on Inauguration Day. And here's your second test. You can see there on the left-hand side of your screen the print media tower, and closer in the front there is the electronic media tower. So the test is, and I heard from Tom Cochran, he's got 2 seats on the presidential platform for whoever gets this right. Why do we separate the print media from photographers and videographers? Because you reach more people. Nope. Because they can't get along. No, that's not it. not electricity, it's sunlight. Of course, the sun is right in the eyes of the print media tower on the north side as it at noon on January 21st. So the photographers don't like the sunlight directly in their eyes, and they get much better pictures being on the south side. Look at that. You learned something today. All right, here's the third test. How are the flags on the west front of the Capitol organized? You can see them starting to go up here. Here they are going up. And there they are. So on the left and right ends is the flag of 13 states. Everyone's got that. The flag in the center is the current United States flag. And the two flags in the middle represent the president's home state when that state came into the Union. And if you haven't been to a presidential inauguration before, this is what it looks like. 1.8 million people in 20 seconds. All done now? There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
That was spectacular. I will concede the point that a presidential inauguration is a bigger deal than a Super Bowl unless the Saints are in it. And I loved all those pictures. That was about the cultural economy. You know how many artisans it took to put all that stuff together? My favorite picture was a congressional leader standing together doing that nail. I mean, at least they could agree on something. It's like the Jay Leno show in here this morning. I'm sorry. My bad. Jimmy Fallon. Before we end, we have been joined by our great leader, who is the mayor of Philadelphia and has been just an outstanding leader for this conference. So would you please help me welcome to close us out this morning, Mayor Michael Nutter.
The Roots. Please give it up for Philly's own The Roots. What a conference! What a weekend! What an inaugural! Give it up for our presenter who showed us what the inauguration is really all about. Thank you. Apparently, it is more than. Apparently, it's more than just a speech. Mayor Mitch Landrieu has taken on this great challenge, and I just talked about him in New York about a week or so ago when I was up to talk about jazz in New York City and its impact on arts, culture, and the creative economy. You were in my speech when I was up there about a week or so ago. Let me close out. We have a quite busy day, but art and culture and sports and the creative economy is pretty serious business. As much fun as it is, it's also about giving these artists the opportunity to do what they do. In Philadelphia, nearly 50,000 people have jobs related to the arts and culture in our great city. And it's an opportunity for economic development, drives people, makes things happen. As I mentioned as I came up, the Great Roots in Philadelphia, they are more than musicians. They have had a cultural impact on our great city. 25 plus years these guys have been doing what they do, and the music is just incredible, but we've made them our cultural ambassadors for the city and for the world. And whether it's Welcome America, the greatest celebration of the 4th of July in Philadelphia, the largest free outdoor concert in the United States of America, 600,000 people out on the Ben Franklin Parkway, and we've asked them to be the curators of that great concert and many other things that go on in our cities and towns all across America, or their, of course, now late night activities when they leave Philadelphia. We allow them passage out of our city to go to our suburb to the north, which is New York City is a suburb of Philadelphia. We'll see Mayor Bloomberg a little later on today. He'd probably have a slightly different opinion about that, but for this morning, I can get away with that. We are proud of you, and to all of our awardees, can we give them one more big, big round of applause? We love the artists. We love what they do, their creativity, and if you have no particular musical talent, like myself, you enjoy it that much more. But we want to thank Mayor Mitch and the great work that he has done, the focus that he has given to this particular committee. No one has embraced a committee the way Mitch Landrieu has, and we thank everyone for this morning. Congratulations to all of the artists. Thank you for what you do. You make our lives that much better, that much easier, and a whole lot more fun. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.